So the title of my talk today is the video game industry thriving in a pandemic. My name is Kevin Tan. I'm the head of department for game studies here at Faculty of Creative Industries. So everybody is basically involved in this pandemic, yeah. Whether you like it or not. Why is my slide not moving? Okay. So in Malaysia, we have this Malaysia's Movement Control Order, or what we call the MCO. Yeah, the first MCO happened in the 18th of March to 31st of March, duration of 14 days. Second MCO, 1st of April to 14th of April, 14 days as well. The third one was 15 to 28 April, fourth one 29 to 12th of May. And then we were recovering sort of. We had a CMCO, Conditional Control Movement Order, and then the Recovery Movement Control Order, RMCO. And then after that, they have MCO 2.0, MCO 3.0. I have lost count what MCO we are in now. Okay, so basically, this pandemic is tough. Yeah, it's tough on the industry. It's tough on us. What has happened is that, yeah, according to the STAR, in efforts to control the COVID-19 outbreak, basically government and private offices, except those involved in essential services, are closed. So if you're not in healthcare, you're not in all the basic needs, then you're closed, you know, selling groceries and stuff. Okay, definitely airlines are affected, restricted entry for foreign visitors. Okay, no religious activities. So those returning from overseas to be home quarantined for 14 days. All shops except businesses dealing with daily essentials to be shut down. Yeah, almost all businesses shut down if it's not essential. No social gatherings. So big groups are prohibited. Comprehensive restriction for Malaysians traveling abroad. So even studying overseas is a problem. Kindergarten, schools, colleges, and universities to be closed. So we are all affected actually. Yeah, this COVID-19. Right, so the consequences of the pandemic, basically, you find that online learning has emerged. Okay, so actually we don't have a choice because it's very dangerous to be gathering in large groups. So we had to resort to online learning. And thankfully, the technology is here for that, yeah, video streaming and all that. Most people who can work from home have to work from home. Okay, those who, if you're not essential services, basically you have to work from home or you're out of a job. It's a problem. There's a shift. Okay, you notice that there's also a shift in consumer behavior. I'll talk more about that later. And this gave rise to the digital economy, which includes digital games, which I'm going to be talking about. So, which sectors were most affected? What do you think, right? Is it the service industries? Is it manufacturing? Tourism? Entertainment? Basically, all the industries that involve physical presence, they are affected, okay? So if you are in an industry that does not require physical presence, you are in better shape compared to these industries, like for example, manufacturing. How can you manufacture something virtually? You can't, okay? We don't have the technology yet. 3D printers, yes, but certain things you have to be physically present to manufacture, okay? Services, how can you give a virtual service? Like let's say serving food, you can't virtually serve it, okay? Tourism, what are we talking about here? People want to physically visit a place. They don't want to do it virtually, right? Or through VR and all that. Entertainment, nobody wants to go to the cinema. It's dangerous, right? You don't want to go to gym because you might get infected. Okay, so from a study done by Decode EFC Analysis, the potential losers here are, okay, we start from the bottom: tourism and leisure, aviation and maritime, automotive, construction, real estate, non-essential manufacturing, financial services, education if you cannot go online, oil and gas. Okay, and the potential, okay, so the potential winner, oil and gas, is halfway between both. Yeah, people still need oil and gas, but we are not traveling so much nowadays because, if you are working from home, what traveling are we talking about, right? So, okay, potential winners, agriculture, okay. People are looking to farm and self-sustain. E-commerce has picked up, okay. Everyone is going on Lazada and Shopee to buy things. ICT, anything that's virtual in ICT world is picking up, okay. People are buying laptops to do e-learning. People are going online for their virtual conference. People are buying things on e-commerce using ICT technology, okay. We'll talk more about that later because that's related to games. Personal and healthcare also increase because everyone's concerned about their safety, their health. Food processing and retail, we all need to eat. We used to go to restaurants. Now we're cooking more at home, okay. Medical supplies and services. So all these went up because people are worried of their health. So let's talk about Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So Abraham Maslow is a professor in psychology. And according to Maslow, we have survival needs, okay? We need air, we need to sleep, we need to eat, we need clothes, we need to drink water, we need basic safety, and we need a house to live, a roof to live under, okay? So these are the basic needs. Now, after your basic needs, if you look at the triangle over here, this is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. The very basic need is right at the bottom, physiological needs, okay? After that, you will need things like personal security, okay, your safety needs, employment, resources, health, property, followed by love and belonging, friendship, intimacy, family, sense of connection, followed by esteem, okay, respect, self-esteem, status, recognition, strength, freedom, and finally, self-actualization, desire to become the most that one can be. Now, during the pandemic, we don't care about all this actually. We are right at the bottom. If you don't have air, you don't have water, you don't have food, you don't care about your safety, okay? You don't care about health. You need to eat, you need to sleep, okay? Once all that has been fulfilled, then we move up the next ladder, safety needs. Okay, so people are somewhere around these two, okay? We're worried about health, we're worried about our personal security, employment, things like that. Okay, so these are the things that are happening currently because of COVID-19, right? And if we talk about games, we are moving higher up the ladder, but we can because it can be fulfilled because it's a virtual product, right? If it's a physical product, then we don't care about it because we cannot fulfill it. So let's move on to the next slide. Okay, according to the New York Times, let's look at the chart on the left. Yeah. So in the year 2019, around ending of April 1st, this was what they found out. Okay. People were spending less money on mobile, even less on charitable giving and fast food, even more less on fitness apparels, and forget about airlines, cruises, lodging, movie theaters, forget about it, okay, because of COVID-19. So what are the winners? If you look on the right in green, and the bubble, if you pay attention to the bubble means there's a big amount of money being spent. So people are shifting their money from, let's say, mobile, fast food, and fitness and tourism. They are shifting their money to supermarkets, general merchandise, and e-commerce. Yeah, I'm sure all of you are spending more on Shopee and Lazada as well. Okay, nothing to do. Okay, look on Shopee, maybe, I don't know. Okay, alcohol has increased. If you look on the chart, you can see that the video streaming has increased. Food delivery, everybody's ordering Grab and I don't know, Food Panda to get their food. If you don't know how to cook, then that's the next thing you'll do. Yeah, ordering food delivery. So that has big jump, 50%. Even bigger jump is gaming and online grocers. Okay, so more people are staying at home and playing games as a result of this pandemic. All right, more to come. So which sectors are least affected and which sectors are thriving? Okay, we have a need for entertainment. whether it's a pandemic or non-pandemic, we still need to be entertained. Okay, we have a need for food. We have to eat food. If we don't eat food, we'll die, right? So what has happened is that the traditional platforms have shifted to online. Okay, what I mean by that is you need entertainment, you need food, but instead of getting it in the movie theaters, instead of going to the restaurant to eat, you are shifting it to online. Okay, you're ordering your food online, delivered to your house. You are watching Netflix. You are downloading games and playing at your home. Okay, so that has increased. So they found that Malaysia's e-commerce market grew 24.7% in 2020, according to global data. So clearly we have a digital shift that's happening, yeah, due to this pandemic. Now, according to Huawei, because of COVID-19, the ICT spend growth accelerated 2 to 3 times over the next 5 years, okay? They are experiencing the strongest wave of digitization in history. Consumers are permanently changing their spending behavior, okay? The economy is mainly driven by growth in post-COVID-19 spending. Government is enabling ICT more, okay? Telcos and enterprises are making their strengthening their network capabilities because more people are going online. Okay, they're playing games. More people are playing games online. More people are ordering things online. They are studying online, so they're doing that. Okay, so and new technology is coming out as well. So all this is partly because of the pandemic. It's already happening before the pandemic, but because of the pandemic, things accelerated. Okay. Now, according to global game, so you can see from here. These are the big winners of based on the Newzoo research. You find that 13.7 billion are playing tablet games. Okay, 7.2 billion are playing mobile. Okay, 63.6 billion using smartphone games. 36.9 billion PC. 3 billion browser PC games. 33.9 billion downloaded PC games. 45.2 billion console games. Every one of these that I mentioned here, there's a plus sign. They all increase. Okay, so in 2020, all increase. So the market for games is actually increasing because of this pandemic. Okay, so more research by Newzoo. The pandemic has boosted user engagement with video games and esports. Yeah. Revenues increased for many gaming companies and platforms. It's accelerating existing trends within the gaming industry. So the video game industry is thriving despite widespread economic disruption because of this virus. Everybody has to practice social distancing, right? You reduce your consumer and business activity to as little as possible. So gaming offers a distraction because everyone is stuck at home. We are all social creatures. We still need to socialize. So what do? We do the next best thing. We socialize virtually. Okay. So the initial data shows that there's a huge growth in playing time and sales since the lockdown began. Games has always been typically an at-home activity. You play your games normally at home. Okay. Nintendo and Genshin sales increased during the first quarter. Okay, Nintendo sold almost half its games digitally, and profits increased by 41%. Genshin's year-on-year online games revenue increased 31%. So I'm sure if you look on Facebook, some of these games may be familiar to you. Yeah, Doom Eternal and Animal Crossing. Both broke sales records after launch. This was during the pandemic time. Okay. Gaming traffic increased during the peak hours, 75% compared to digital video, which only increased 12%, and web traffic, which only increased 20%, according to Verizon. And platforms like Twitch, YouTube gaming, and Facebook gaming experienced a surge in growth, about 20%, according to Streamlabs. So this is all very good news if you are interested in games and the game industry. I'm sure you know about Valve. Valve is the creator of Counter-Strike, okay, and Team Fortress, okay, Left 4 Dead. So according to Valve, which runs the Steam platform, there's a peak concurrent Steam users, okay, millions. This is a chart from 2018 to 2020. So you look at this arrow here, November 19, this was roughly the start of the pandemic. Okay, and this is the millions of users that they had. So it went up to around April, there was an increase in users. And then as the virus cooled down, so the users also cooled down a bit, but it's still rising. Huh? And then you see the second wave, okay? So second wave of the virus, then suddenly there's an increase in user again. So people are choosing online platforms to play games. Yeah, you can see that in the chart. So you might be wondering, what is involved in making games? Why is it thriving in this pandemic? Okay, so to make games, one of the elements is game art. Okay, that would include doing things like concept art, drawing characters, drawing environments, okay, doing digital paintings. So you can use tools like Photoshop, Corel Paint, Substance Painter, and all that to do your work. This is all virtual, okay? You basically need a computer, you have a Wacom tablet, you have the skills to do it, then you can basically do all this game art. Another form of game art, 3D modeling, okay? So you model human characters, you model props, you model vehicles, okay, facial expressions. Another form of that is also done using 3D software like 3D Studio Max, Maya, okay? And as long as you have the skills to do 3D, you can do it anywhere. You can do it at home, you can do it in the office, you can anywhere, okay? Of course, you need an internet connection if you need to submit your work. So that 3D also includes texturing. So you learn how to use Photoshop to create various kinds of textures to optimize your creation. You can see the image on the left as it moves towards the right. When you apply different sorts of texturing techniques, which you can learn in our programs, you can make something so simple on the left become something more complicated and rich on the right. Okay. Another form of game art would be things like rigging. So you're setting up the skeletal, this 3D mesh with skeletons so that it can be animated. So this one requires some knowledge to set it up. You can set up facial animation to set up the character so that the character can do talking and expressions and acting. Okay, so that also requires some knowledge. But once you have it, you can do it virtually. And also cinematics, yeah, like in Assassin's Creed, when you finish the game, then you need to show some cinematics. So that's where the if you have game art knowledge, which you can learn in our programs, then you can set up your cinematics and make cinema type cutscenes when you play the game, after you play the game or in between the games. So another aspect of games creation is game design. So game design will involve things like storytelling, game mechanics, okay, level design, okay. So you will create the levels and then you have to script the gameplay to make it interesting, exciting. The interactions are meaningful. So all this requires understanding. So earlier I showed you about storytelling. So we also learn this in the program. So learn about narrative structure, how you can create interesting and engaging stories, okay? In mechanics, you can learn about creating interesting interactions or play experiences for the player to experience. So that is the game design. Okay, this one is level design. So you create the levels together with the props, the 3D props, and the interactions to make your level fun to play. Another aspect of game creation is game programming, okay? One of the aspects of game programming is game physics. So like you see in this game, Angry Bird, you have to figure out the physics of the projectile. how the bird is going to be launched. So you have to do mathematics calculation so that the character will launch correctly and fly in the air correctly and then land and attack the enemies correctly. So all this requires programming. Yeah, and also if you're doing a 3D game, so then you can have physics collision and whatnot to make your game exciting. Another aspects of game programming will be like game engine programming. So you'll be working with engines like Unreal. If you join our program, you'll be working with game engines like Unreal and Unity, where you learn how to program aspects within the engine itself to create interactions, to piece together all the art assets to make your game playable and fun. Okay, another aspect of game programming is gameplay programming. So I can't really show you how gameplay programming is, but I'll just show you some pictures. Essentially, you are stringing together play experiences. Let's say the game designer says, I want this, 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 and this to happen when this, and this happens. So the programmer will then go ahead and script together these gameplay experiences. So you miss, then you die. You miss, then you get hit, something like that, right? So you notice that games are basically digital. Once you have the skill set, or once you have learned how to create all these things that I mentioned earlier, you can basically work anywhere, anytime. Okay, you are not constrained by the office. You are not constrained by time. As long as you have a laptop or a computer, you have internet connection, you can create everything that I showed you earlier. No problem. Okay. If you don't know information, you can search online. As long as you have internet, you can search online. You can go YouTube. You can go to Google. You can find for your answers. Yeah. So as long as you have internet, you can even meet. Yeah. If let's say you're working in a team, you can meet your team members online. You don't have to meet them physically. Okay. So you can meet them using connection, video conferencing softwares like Teams, Zoom, Google Meet. Okay. You can download and upload stuff. Okay. You can put them on your Google Drive. So not an issue. Everything is there already. The infrastructure is there already. All right. So in the division of game studies, when you join a game company, you will either be assigned to the art department, the game technology, or the programming department. In bigger studios, you will have a separate department called a game design department. So the game design is slightly different from the game art. Okay. In smaller studios, the game art and the game design will be one department. And these three areas you basically need in order to make a game. Right. So if you look at the programs that we have here in Utah, we have one called the Bachelor of Arts Honors Game Design. Here you will learn game design. Okay, all the theories and application. You will learn storytelling. You will learn level design. You will learn game art, like what I showed you, and you will learn a bit of programming. Okay, enough for you to. You will not be an expert programmer, but you will learn enough to make a game. Okay, it won't be as optimized as what the programmers can do. So your emphasis in this program will be on the game design and the game art. Yeah, remember the three circles I showed you? Game design, game art. Now, the other program that we have is the Bachelor of Science Game Development. So in game development, you are mainly involving game maths, graphics programming, artificial intelligence programming, physics programming, okay, all the collision and all that. And you learn a bit of basic game art and a bit of basic game design. So you see that the two programs, they learn all three things in the circles that I showed you earlier, right? Just that for game development, the emphasis is on the technology, less on the art and the design. For the game design, the emphasis is on the art and design, less on the technology. Yeah. Right. So I've talked to a few people from the industry, and this is what they have to say. Yeah? You can work at home because there are collaborative softwares available like Google, Google Docs, GitHub. Can communicate and have meetings without the need for physical contact because of all this. There was a shortage of PlayStation and Nintendo Switch consoles in West Michigan at the start of the quarantine. This one I found from a news article. And the pandemic is creating huge demand for games, like what I showed you earlier, based on all those research. Yeah. So the industry people here in Malaysia, they told me that if you're creating your own intellectual property, the pandemic makes little difference. Whether there's a pandemic, there's no pandemic, you're still making games. No difference. Okay. The majority of them use Discord, Teams, Trello, and Good Day to communicate with their team members during the pandemic. So communication and meeting is not a problem. You can work from home. There are actually more projects as brands put more focus on digital marketing. However, freelance projects dropped as smaller companies adopted a wait and see attitude. So if you're a big game company, good for you, because big brands like Adidas and all that, McDonald's, they are spending more money on the digital platform, and they also turn to game companies to create mini games, let's say, for them. So if big companies are profiting from this. If you're a freelance small developer, not so good, because the freelance projects are dropping. Yeah. More people are staying at home, so the daily average user and the monthly average user for games has increased. Yeah, just like what I showed you in the charts earlier. More people are playing games on a day-to-day basis and also on a month-to-month basis. More pre-planning required to maximize online meetings. This one is from one of the industry people I talked to. So basically, it's a good thing, yeah, according to him, because sometimes you just have meeting and you don't plan properly. But because you are now restricted to working online, you better plan properly before you have your meeting. If not, you have an empty silence, don't know what to do. So it's a good thing, yeah. A few local studios actually expanded during the pandemic. So some of the, they have nothing to do, so they expand. So it's actually a good thing, especially the bigger studios. Yeah, they're getting more projects. So yeah, why not expand? Everything is digital anyway. Okay, because games are digital, pandemic does not hinder marketing globally, which is true. Yeah, you want to, like, you look at the case of Nintendo and Genshin. Basically, you can market through Facebook. Okay, you can sell your products online. You don't even have to walk into a shop to buy a game. Everything can be done through, let's say, the Google Play Store, okay, or the App Store, whatnot. So it's not a problem. Yeah, selling and marketing, not a problem. So what's in store for the future? Basically, pandemic-proof jobs. Okay, if we are ever hit by a pandemic like what we have now, or even worse, I would say the future will come in choosing careers and jobs that are pandemic-proof. Okay, we are looking at jobs where you can work from home or work anywhere you want, as long as you have internet connection, and basically digital type jobs are right there at the top. Okay, and there's no better place to be than games, because as you can see, people are turning to games when there's a pandemic. Okay, people are already increasingly playing more games, but because of the pandemic, it shot up even more. Yeah. All right, so that's all the sharing I have for today. Okay, so mainly our students are working with two kind of game engines. One is the Unreal game engine, and another one is Unity. So what I have here are two Unreal Engine examples by students. So let me just share this first one. Let me know if you cannot hear anything. So this one is a story about, I think it's in Hong Kong or something like that. So you're supposed to, they're living in the rooftop slums and the mother fell ill. So they have to collect herbs save the mother or something like that. Okay. So WASD for movement, space for jumping. So I'm supposed to collect these herbs. Don't laugh at me, my platforming skills are not that good. So what am I supposed to do? All right, so I'm supposed to jump here. Oh, I'm dead. Okay, how am I going to get up? I'm dead. So there are basically herbs that you need to collect in this Hong Kong, virtual Hong Kong. But yeah, I keep dying. Okay, so maybe what I just show you is some of the texturing and the 3D skills. So this is done in Unreal Engine, and the student has basically tried to recreate the slums of Hong Kong. Okay, and yeah, there are more herbs. So your job is to collect these herbs.
Mr. Kevin,
Yes.
This is from a year 2 student project?
This is year 2 towards the late year 2. This is from the subject level design.
Okay.
Okay, so let me stop this one.
Yeah, quite lag.
Lagging, huh? Okay.
Yeah.
I think because very high resolution graphics. How do I stop this? Okay.
So, Mr. Kevin, are you going to show another project or?
Yeah, let me just close this one first.
Okay.
Okay, so this, can you see this?
Yes.
Yeah, so this one is another student project. So you're basically a mouse that has to travel around and change yourself back to a human being. So yeah, show you an enter. Yes. Okay, so the story is you are this mouse that transform in, I think you're a human that transforms to a mouse. So you have to find the spell to transform back to a human. You have to find the items. So you have to avoid these skeletons. Once again, please excuse me. My platforming skills are not very good. Okay, how do I open this? Q. Oh, I'm being scared. I'm being chased. There's a secret entrance here, if I'm not mistaken.
So, Mr. Kelvin, this project is work with a game development student and a game design student, right?
Correct. This is a final year project. So it's a slightly bigger project than what you saw earlier. Earlier was a single person that did the project. This one is 3 people in one group, game development and game design working together. So what happens with, we try to simulate in the program similar to what is in the industry. The designers and the artists and the programmers have to work together. So that's what we do also lah, for the final year project. Okay, let me jump. Okay, I missed. All right, so I think you get that. Yeah, I think you get the idea lah. Yeah. So the purpose is to jump up the cabinets and get all those items there. Oh, I'm dead.
Okay.
Yeah. So thank you for the opportunity to let me share. Yeah.
Okay, if the student have any further inquiry, they also can visit our website and like our Facebook, Utah for You, and also can contact us at hotline and email us about the inquiry. So thank you for joining us today and have a nice day. Thank you, Mr. Kelvin again.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.